Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever reached a moment where you couldn't give any more, explain any more, sacrifice any more, or fight any harder for people who still didn't value what you brought into their world? Have you ever felt the heavy truth that no matter how patient you were, how loyal you were, or how much heart you poured into someone, they only realized your importance when you walked away? It's a painful turning point, but it becomes the moment everything changes. When you finally remove yourself, when you stop giving them the comfort of your presence, when you stop showing up to fix the things they kept breaking, that's when they start to see the truth they ignored. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Walking away is not weakness. Walking away is control. Walking away is choosing your peace over someone else's chaos. Walking away is not abandoning anyone. It is returning to yourself after giving too much to people who never protected what you offered. People often assume you'll never leave because you've stayed through storms. They assume you'll keep giving because that's what you've always done. They assume your loyalty is unbreakable because they got used to you carrying everything. But the moment you take that final step back, the moment you detach and reclaim your self-worth, their world changes instantly. Your absence becomes the lesson they refused to learn when you were still close enough to teach it gently. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." When you walk away, you stop feeding situations that drain you, and you redirect your attention toward your own growth. Today, we're going deep into why your decision to walk away becomes the moment they truly feel your value. This is not about revenge. This is not about teaching someone a lesson out of bitterness. This is about teaching yourself that you deserve the same energy you give, the same respect you offer, and the same love you share. Before we begin, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Walking away was my breakthrough, not my loss. Number 1. Walking away reveals what they never admitted. When you finally walk away, something powerful happens that most people never expect. The people who took you for granted start to feel the weight of everything you used to hold up. They begin to notice the silence where your support used to be. They feel the emptiness where your presence used to give them comfort. They start seeing the truth they refused to acknowledge when you were still standing beside them. Many people only understand your value when they are forced to live without the stability you brought into their life. They don't recognize your kindness until it disappears. They don't appreciate your patience until the arguments echo without your calming voice. They don't respect your loyalty until their world becomes strangely cold without your steady energy. They don't see how much of their life depended on you until your footsteps fade and they're left to face themselves. And that is the moment they finally learn. You were never replaceable the way their ego wanted them to believe. Your presence had weight. Your energy had meaning. Your love had strength. Your consistency had power. When you walk away, you force them to face the truth they avoided. People often want the benefits of your heart without carrying the responsibility of valuing it. They assume you will always stay because they underestimate your strength. They assume you will always forgive because they mistake your compassion for weakness. But when you leave, you show them that loyalty does not mean self-abandonment and that your silence carries a message stronger than any confrontation. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Walking away is that moment of freedom. It is courage choosing itself. It is strength refusing to stay where it isn't respected. And the person on the other side finally learns that losing someone who gave wholeheartedly is a loss they can't hide from. Number 2, distance exposes their dependence on your energy. When you walk away, the space you create becomes the harsh teacher they never saw coming. People often act like they don't need you when you're right in front of them, but that illusion falls apart quickly once you're gone. The distance you create becomes a mirror they can't avoid, reflecting how much they relied on your emotional labor, your steady presence, your encouragement, your understanding, your patience, and your ability to hold everything together when situations fell apart. They once believed you would always be available, always respond, always show up, always fix things, always carry the emotional weight for both of you. But when you finally step back, they suddenly have to carry everything alone, and that's when the truth hits with full force. They realize it wasn't just your words that mattered, it was your energy. It was the feeling of being supported, valued, grounded, and safe in your presence. That's something they can't replace with distractions or silence. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Your decision to create distance is you reclaiming that power. You're no longer allowing their chaos to control your peace. You're no longer letting their indecision dictate your worth. You're choosing yourself, and that choice shakes their illusion of control. Distance forces them to see that your absence has consequences. It shows them that your kindness wasn't guaranteed. It shows them that your emotional support wasn't free. It shows them that your presence was a privilege, not a right. And now, they have to face life without the comfort they once took for granted. The truth is, people only act strong until they lose the one person who held the emotional balance for them. That's why distance is powerful. It exposes who truly depended on you more than they ever admitted. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My distance protects my peace. Number 3. Your silence destroys the power of their manipulation. When you walked away, you broke the pattern they depended on. People who try to control you, guilt-trip you, or play with your emotions rely on one thing: your reaction. They count on you responding fast. They count on you explaining yourself. They count on you defending your intentions. They count on you feeling guilty for their mistakes. They count on you trying to fix what they destroyed. But when you stay silent and refuse to participate in their emotional games, everything collapses. Manipulation needs fuel, and silence cuts off the supply. Suddenly they can't push your buttons. They can't twist your words. They can't trigger your emotions. They can't drag you into arguments. They can't use your kindness against you. Your silence stops their control in its tracks. Epictetus said, "No person is free who is not master of themselves." Your silence proves you are the master now. Not your emotions, not their behavior, not their expectations. You are no longer reacting to their drama. You are choosing your peace. You are no longer giving them access to your emotional space. You are protecting your energy. You are no longer explaining your worth. You are showing it through action. And this is where the shift happens. The same person who thought they had power over you suddenly starts to panic. They wonder why you're not responding. They wonder why their usual tactics don't work anymore. They wonder why you're calm. They wonder why you're unbothered. They wonder why you're moving with quiet confidence instead of desperate emotion. Your silence breaks the cycle. It forces them to feel the emotional emptiness they created. It forces them to see that their control was an illusion. And it forces them to admit that the real strength was always yours. Remember, silence is not a weakness. It's a weapon. When you stop letting people control your reactions, you take back your life. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence removes their control and restores my strength. Number 4. Walking away revealed the value of your presence. When you finally walked away, you didn't just remove yourself from the situation. You removed your loyalty, your attention, your compassion, your time, your consistency, and your presence. And that presence was worth more than they ever admitted. People often don't appreciate what they have while it's in their hands. They mistake your patience for dependence. They mistake your kindness for weakness. They mistake your understanding for tolerance. They mistake your support for obligation. But the moment you step back, the moment you stop showing up, the moment you stop giving, the moment you stop being available, the truth hits them harder than any argument ever could. They realize you weren't just another person in their life. You were the stability, the warmth, the maturity, the growth, the peace, and the grounding energy they didn't think they needed. Suddenly, the silence feels heavy. Suddenly, the distance feels sharp. Suddenly, your absence feels like a void they can't refill. Marcus Aurelius said, "The value of a thing is often revealed when it is gone." That is exactly what happens when you walk away. Your presence had weight. Your words had impact. Your energy had meaning, and your silence becomes a reminder of everything they ignored. They start remembering the way you cared. They start remembering the way you listened. They start remembering the way you helped. They start remembering the comfort you brought. They start remembering how safe they felt with you. And the worst part for them? They realize you didn't leave to hurt them. You left to protect yourself. That's when regret hits the deepest. They know they lost someone real, someone rare, someone who actually showed up with pure intentions. And now, all they have left is the echo of who you used to be in their life. Your walking away was the lesson they never thought they'd have to learn. Number 5, silence reveals true intentions. When you stop talking, stop reacting, and stop trying to control how others perceive you, silence becomes the ultimate test. People reveal their true colors when you step back because they can no longer rely on your words to smooth over their behavior or excuse their actions. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Silence forces reality to show itself, and it shows you who respects your boundaries, who values your presence, and who only seeks to benefit from your energy. When you refuse to justify yourself, manipulate or chase after approval, you give others a chance to step forward authentically, or to fade away. Those who truly care, those who genuinely value you, will approach with honesty and respect. Those who are insincere will reveal frustration, manipulation, or indifference. This is not about punishment. This is about clarity. Silence functions as a mirror, reflecting how others behave when your energy is no longer available to distract or excuse them. Each pause, each step back, each calm decision to withhold reaction is a lesson in observation. You begin to see patterns, motives, and boundaries with precision. You no longer guess, no longer hope, and no longer settle for illusions. Instead, you recognize truth and you act accordingly. This is power, not passivity. It is knowing when to speak, when to act, and when to hold your presence as your strongest influence. Use this moment of silence to discern loyalty, authenticity, and character. Let the quiet teach you who deserves your time and who does not. Number 6. Walking away made them see your value clearly. When you walked away, something powerful happened that they never expected. For the first time, they had to face the reality of your true value without the comfort of your presence. When you were giving, loving, forgiving, explaining, supporting, and showing up, they barely noticed the weight you carried. They didn't see the patience. They didn't appreciate the loyalty. They didn't understand the emotional work you kept doing every day. They thought your effort was normal. They thought your kindness was endless. They thought your availability was guaranteed. But once you walked away, everything they took for granted suddenly burned bright in their memory. Every little thing you did without asking for credit starts replaying in their mind. Every moment you listened, every time you stayed calm, every time you gave them another chance, it all becomes clear when you're no longer around. Marcus Aurelius said, "You will understand the value of something only when you stop having it." This is the exact lesson they learned the day you left. They didn't lose a person. They lost a protector. They lost a safe space. They lost a supporter. They lost someone who truly cared in a world where real loyalty is rare. Your silence forced them to see the impact of your presence. Your distance forced them to see the difference between you and everyone else. Your absence forced them to compare the peace you brought with the emptiness they now feel. And that emptiness is loud. It hits them at night. It hits them when they check their phone. It hits them when they deal with people who don't match your character. You walking away didn't just change the relationship, it changed their understanding. They finally learned how valuable you truly were, and they learned it the hardest way possible, by losing you. Now, drop this affirmation in the comments. I walk away from anything that doesn't honor me. Number 7. Silence reveals who truly cares. Walking away doesn't just teach people your worth, it also exposes who genuinely values you. When you withdraw, when you stop responding, when you stop trying to fix things for them, the people who truly care will notice. They will reach out. They will respect your space. They will acknowledge the absence and reflect on their own behavior. Those who never intended to value you will remain silent, indifferent, or dismissive. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your reaction, or in this case your silence, becomes the ultimate test. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is a lens that brings clarity. It separates fair-weather friends, opportunists and takers from the people who see your presence as a gift. It allows you to see who is willing to show up without being prompted, who will act with respect and consistency, and who simply tolerated your efforts. Walking away creates space for perspective, and perspective teaches you the truth about your relationships. When you stop providing access to your energy, you stop enabling their carelessness. You stop covering for their mistakes. You stop making excuses. Their response, or lack of it, mirrors their values. And in that mirror, you find freedom. Freedom from disappointment, freedom from expectation, and freedom to invest in people who are worthy of your time. Don't rush back into engagement or seek validation from those who fail the silent test. Your silence is your power. Your quiet stance teaches others how to treat you, and those who respect it deserve your energy. They will adjust, they will recognize, they will care. And those who don't, they reveal their true character. Number 8. Silence builds unshakable confidence. When you walk away and embrace silence, you're doing more than protecting your energy or testing others. You're training yourself to stand unshaken. Confidence doesn't come from convincing people to value you. It comes from knowing your worth without needing external validation. Silence forces you to rely on yourself, to measure your value from within, and to strengthen the foundation of your identity. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This applies to your presence and your attention. If someone doesn't deserve your words, your time, or your energy, the right action is restraint. The moment you stop reacting to their attempts to control, manipulate, or guilt you, You create an inner fortress that no outside influence can shake. You begin to see clearly who deserves a seat in your life and who does not. Each unanswered message, each missed call, each unacknowledged attempt from them becomes a lesson in your self-control. The power is no longer in their hands, it is entirely yours. Confidence grows quietly, steadily, and invisibly, while others fume in their ignorance. It becomes unshakable because it is built on self-awareness, self-discipline, and self-respect, not on temporary approval. This is the level where you don't just survive rejection, you thrive because you know your worth, you protect your peace, and you refuse to bend for anyone who fails to honor your value. Let silence mold your confidence into something no one can take away. Let it teach you to stay grounded, to trust yourself, and to act only when it aligns with your truth. You've walked through this journey with me, and now you understand something powerful. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is the tool that reveals truth, protects your energy, and places you in complete control of your life. Every pause you take, every moment you step back instead of reacting, is a declaration that you will no longer be manipulated, disrespected, or undervalued. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the heart of silence. It is discipline, it is clarity, it is empowerment. You don't need to justify yourself. You don't need to chase validation. You don't need to explain your worth to anyone who cannot recognize it. When people feel the absence of your energy, they confront the reality they ignored. And you stand firm, calm, and untouchable. Take this knowledge and apply it. Protect your peace. Guard your boundaries. Honor your value. Your life becomes richer, calmer, and stronger because you choose silence as your power, not noise as your weakness. If you're ready to own this strength every day, hit that subscribe button, like, and share this video. Drop one final affirmation in the comments. I am unshakable. My silence is my strength, and my energy is sacred.